without further ado, Debbie, are you still on?
I am here, AJ.
Awesome, awesome. Good to see you. How are you?
Very good, very good. Just loving life here in Florida and excited about today. I've been a little bit nervous about it, to be honest, as well. And I think I'm at a different point than a lot of people here, and I hope some of the things. And I left you a message, I know, but I just want to be very candid and honest, and I might get emotional. It's who I am. I kind of share my emotions. So, but I'm really glad
Good.
to be here and a part of this group. This is an amazing group, this Game Changers group.
Yeah, it sure is. So I got your message. So I was prepared, and I did ping you back. So um, you can listen to it after the interview. And
I'm not good on Boxer.
I know when I first started using Voxer, I was like, man, I always forgot to check my messages. But now that I use it, it's like I don't want to use anything else because it's so efficient. But yeah, so to give you guys an idea of who Debbie is, Debbie's amazing for sure. We've known each other now for gosh,
For
what,
you.
4 years? Yeah. So I had the opportunity to come to Daytona Beach, where Debbie sells real estate and lives, and do a lunch and learn when I was on my trip around the U.S. in my motorhome. I had a lot of fun, so that was really cool. And Debbie's at all the events, so we've had a lot of time to see each other in person, which has been great. So Debbie's a top producing agent in Daytona Beach. Joined eXp primarily, I think, for the revenue share opportunity, and she'll share her story and her wins and her setbacks. Hopefully, one of the things that I love about Debbie, and one of the things that I love about people that I get to interview and people that I'm watching or listening to their podcast is when they're just authentic, with the challenges and setbacks they may have had. And I think that's where we all can learn and grow the most, hearing that. And I know, Debbie, with you saying that you might get emotional, you'll probably share some of that. So let's just dive into it. So you joined eXp about 4 years ago. Just share real quick, like what does your business volume look like today? And like why do you really join eXp? If it was for the revenue share, like why the revenue share?
It actually wasn't for the revenue share.
Okay.
That's what's interesting. No, I was a top producing agent, just more of a single agent, even though I market myself as the Weller team. I consider the team being those that you surround yourself with. We've got a lot of vendors and just providing that level of service. And I've had a passion for real estate. I love it, love people, love helping people, and I've always done that. So in my volume, I was doing probably, I've been doing about, 10 to 15 million is kind of where I was at. I was at 50 transactions, probably the most I've ever done in a year. And then my average price point started coming up. So I was doing 30 some transactions for that volume. I was able to get into luxury. Luxury here in Daytona Beach is not $1 million plus. Back then it wasn't, it is now. So, but I was always, and a lot of agents, I think you look at, when you want to grow, you're looking at sales volume. Oh, I want to sell, 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. And one of the things I never looked at was like what I was paying my broker, but I was tracking that number of sales, average sale price, highest sale that year. So I was at a point where I was just frustrated with the broker I was at. They were out of our market at the time, and I joined them for the name. It was Christie's International Real Estate. They were affiliate, and I thought that would help me with luxury. As we all know, name doesn't matter when it comes to the brokerage. But at that point, a friend of mine and somebody who's not even affiliated with eXp, and I didn't even hear of eXp. This was July of 2018, so almost 4 years ago. He said to me, Debbie, you might want to look at eXp. And so I Googled it. I found somehow I found Brent Gove's presentation, or maybe somebody sent it to me, and he knew two people, and one of which was John Totten in San Antonio. This is how I got connected with AJ. But anyways, I listened to that, and it made me realize to look at what I was paying. Like, I never heard of a cap before. I had been an independent. So when I realized and I went and looked back, I paid my broker $44,000 a year. I paid to my brokers over the years of 16 years.
Ouch.
So, and it was over $600,000, and I never realized that. So that was the reason I came, when I saw, wow, a $16,000 cap. And I didn't know, anything about the company, but I was at a point, I was confident in my business, and I knew at that point that people did business with me. So I went ahead and quickly signed. I just signed a big listing with somebody, and I'd gone to her and I said, oh gosh, I heard about this company. I want to move. No one's going to know the sign in your yard. She's like, Debbie, I don't care. I hired you. Let's, I don't care what you do. So I was like, thank you so much. I thank her every time I see her still today. And there was an event that Brent was having, a small event, and AJ was out there. And I got to meet AJ and John and Brent and all that. And I think there were 200 or 300 people there. We were in at Red Rock, AJ.
Okay. Yeah. Red Rock, Las Vegas.
August of 18. So anyways, I just jumped, and then I took like a few months, 4 months to really, get familiar, make sure I could do business under the model and with the company, but I didn't get the rev share. I saw the numbers when you go to the events, and I know we're going to talk more about that, but just going to the events and getting around other people is just key. That is just so key. And, but I lost my train of thought, but so it was the commission that I came to first, because if I was paying $44,000 at a 90% split and I went with the 80-20, I ended up paying that. I had a $24,000 raise right out of the gate. So that was what made me just jump quickly. And then once you get in and you start to see, and then I've Icon my first 3 years in the company. So then that 16,000 in stock was at $8 or something a share back then. And so we did really well with the stock. And my first Icon year, I got 2,600 shares of stock from that $16,000, which was pretty awesome. So
nice.
And then, just kind of plugging in, I think going to Red Rock that first time, and then just wanting to be around because, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I know we're all over the place. I mean, we're in Spain, we're like all over. And when you sign with eXp and you become an agent with Game Changers, I was here, I didn't even really know my sponsor, but I'm thankful and so grateful to have landed with AJ and then what he's done here with this group. So for me, I had to stay plugged in and learn about this company, and someone has changed over the years. But, because as I tried to talk to other agents, first of all, they didn't know. Now they know, but now that more people and everyone thinks we're a bunch of recruiters and they don't want to talk to you. And I have great relationships with agents in this market. I mean, and I still struggle with having conversations with them. And, 4 years now I'm learning, and I've changed so much as a person, just being with eXp and around the people. We become who we surround ourselves with. So who doesn't want to be with a bunch like-minded individuals that are all sitting right here? So I'm sorry, I go off topic. So
no, it's great. It's great. Well, you threw me for a loop. I thought you came for rev share, but you actually came really to save essentially, right off the bat, like close to
$24,000 was
$24,000 before the Icon stock.
Well, and then the stock, and then with the with just paying in at the volume we were doing with that 5%, whatever the percentage is, 5%. We cashed in $160,000 in stock back in 2020 and paid off my car. Nice. We paid off the pool in my backyard and all that stuff. So
nice. That's awesome.
At any other company.
Yeah, a little better than a glass trophy for sure. And we still get glass trophies at eXp.
I know. I have a really cool video of 3 of them I got to post.
Oh yeah, share that in Game Changers.
I will.
One of the things that I've been doing with aides, like on three-way calls and stuff, is like if they're saving money by coming to eXp, I try to make them feel what that money is, because oftentimes it's not 24,000. Like that's a lot. Like anyone can think, well, hey, that's probably my car note that I could pay off in 1 year in savings. But maybe they're not even thinking like that. So like tangibly, I try to get them to feel what that savings is like. So if they're like, so we'll do the breakdown and be like, well, it looks like coming to eXp, you'd be saving like $7,000 a year. Is there some like dream vacation that you've been wanting to go on, or, do you have some debt that you want to pay off, and try to get them to think and say what they would use that money for. It just seems so many times that they see the difference in coming to eXp and just the split and cap, but they don't like get excited about it. Like I remember when I joined eXp from KW, I was only saving like $3,000 a year, and I was like, man, that's a trip to Hilton Head, for the weekend, like a nice trip to Hilton for the weekend. Like that's a big deal. So that's cool. I'm excited to hear that. So talk a little bit about, where you are today in terms of, what does your total organization look like? What do your FLA count look like? I know it's not where you want it to be, but do share.
Well, and I'm going to tell Lars, I had a conversation with Lars a month or so ago, and I was just struggling and I was frustrated, and he was awesome. And I started out going, I've only got 70 people in my organization, and I'm only at 5,000 a month. And he's like, Debbie, there's a book I want you to read, and it's called The Gap and the Gain. And Benjamin Hardy, and I love him because I think John Mikish had first talked about willpower doesn't work, and love that. And then The Gap and the Gain, and I've been listening to it again this morning, and I went for a walk. And when I look back, I was talking about sales volume, how I was like, okay, I want to get to 5 million, 10 million. Well, when revenue share, you want to get to 500 a month, $1,000 a month. You want to get, and then you want to get to 10,000 and grow from there. I'm at $5,000 a month right now, like on average.
Boom.
I did $50,000, 53,000 last year. And you've got to embrace that. Like, I actually did it because I remember when you were here, AJ, it was May of 2019. I can't remember where you were, if you were at like 25,000 or 40,000 at the time a month, and what your organization size, but I was just like, wow, wouldn't that be cool to have that? And, all of us here on this call, that's not hard to get to. And I know, now I'm like, I want 1,250 people in my organization because that's $1 million a year in revenue share. And I've done been fighting here in this market by doing it on my own. And so just recently, and I've had some crazy stuff happen over the last 4 years, just personal development has been the people in this group, a lot of people, we look at, I was like, oh my gosh, Justin was on here last week. Justin, he's a trainer, he's a coach, he's traveled all over. He's been a broker owner. John's a broker owner. Jeff's been a pastor traveling in public speaking and all this stuff. And, but we all, at the end of the day, it's just being a good person and caring about the other people and putting everything aside and looking at how we can help the other person. And it's not about the money anymore. It's because the time, and I know that, AJ, because you're still here, but the, time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, what that is there for us is to allow us to free us up so we don't have those worries, where we can go help other people. And I've finally, I don't know, I'm just seeing that. And I'm, I think there's a lot of great people in my life. Several of you here are those people. And I don't know, I'm back off track again, but
well, I'll get you back on. No, it's good. Sharing your heart. I love it. So making, 5K a month, how many in your total organization and FLA?
So I have, and one of the things, like I said, I've been doing a lot on my own because, I have 24 FLAs and I have 19 FLQAs with an organization size of 74 people. So
yeah, that's solid.
Yeah, but it's so now you sit and as you get to a point, you've got to start realizing, what do I do now? We've got to take care of the people that we brought to this company. We've got to, and I think, getting them plugged in and then getting those to get here, to show up on these calls, to understand the opportunity that they have, because so many people don't even know what they've got with this company. And to that point, I've just lost 5 FLQAs. They're showing up in those numbers right now. But we had a startup brokerage here in our market out of Orlando that modeled eXp. They're basically 100% commission with a $5,000 cap, and they have a $15,000 cap if you want to do rev share. And so the people that left, and I'm looking at all of that, who's here and who's gone. And I think the people that left, I saw they haven't plugged in. And, sometimes people just jump and grass is greener, and it's like short term, not big picture, long term. Because when you look at this company that we're with, We are with the best real estate company in the world. We're going to be #1 in the world. We have the best leadership that I mean, everybody, the hearts and the giving people that we have in this company. And I think, so they've missed that. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out who, like, I'm looking back at who's here and they're amazing. And what can I do to just get them plugged in and just help them though. So my real estate sales are suffering. But it's only because, and I listen to Brett go, sell fewer houses, sell fewer houses and the opportunities here. But at the end of the day, I'm older than some of the younger people in here, and I've been doing it 17 years. And the grind, I turned 50 like a year or so ago, and my whole perspective in life is changing. And I just, we want to be happy. We have to do what fulfills our heart. And I've loved helping customers, but now I can see we can help people in another way. And we all, us that have been doing it a long time, we've got lots of experience. So if we can share that experience and help them sell more real estate, and even, give out referrals to the people that have joined, that's where I'm at. So I'm kind of going backwards for a little while financially, but I know what's ahead. And by just doing the right thing and helping people and coming from the right place, I know that I will be taken care of and my needs fulfilled, so I can just go do more and help more people. So
yeah, let's unpack that a little bit, Debbie, because that's all good stuff. So like what you said, the thing is now is like being happy, and I think about this a lot, and I talk to people about that a lot, is like we're all just really trying to be happy at the end of the day. It's like that's why we want revenue share, because we think it will make us happier. I'm going to share in the chat real quick a great blog post that was emailed to me a few weeks ago. It's been sitting as one of my many open tabs. I'm one of those people that have a lot of open tabs at all time. And what it talks about is like how to live a rich life, and like what does being rich like mean to you. And I'm going to create like a YouTube video on it, or my own thoughts, kind of journal around it. And it just really struck me, because at the end of the day, it's like more money isn't the answer. It's how do you live a rich life for yourself. And the article talks about how to do it through passive income, through investing in real estate. However, we can do it with revenue share. So you have 74-ish agents in your organization, spinning off $5K a month. If you were to take that, $60K a year or so, and want to recreate that through investing in index funds based on the 4% rule, like we talk about, you would essentially need $1.5 million to recreate that passive income stream. So it's massive. It's huge. And I would say the vast majority of the people on this call want to be where you are. So congratulations, you're well on your way. And I was reading something too recently, Debbie, and you came to mind when I listened to your Vox this morning. And the article is basically just talking about how things that come more slowly can really just be appreciated and enjoyed way more. And I was just thinking about that for you and for a lot of people who wish you were a little bit farther ahead in your agent attraction journey. But it's like, it's like you're doing it, you're on your way, and $5K a month is nothing to sneeze at. So I just want to say congratulations and good job on everything you've been doing with that. So what do you feel like has been, like something that you've done well with agent attraction to get to where you are?
I've been looking at who has joined and why they've joined. And a lot of people have joined from just trusting me and knowing that I've been successful in the business. Some of like people that have been, I just had an agent join me that came over in February that 17 years at the same brokerage. And Steve Gardner, one of my generals, he's got 20 people now, and he's got a guy under him, and they're having a lot of success. So I'm starting to see, because with the 19 FLQAs, I have level 4 open. I've had level 4 open for a long time. I have nobody on. So that's a problem. But I think one of the things that I've really, and I know there's probably several people on this call that I've sat on these calls, and it's really uncomfortable, because there's people like, I know you, AJ, have done the cold calling, and a lot of people that have done then use the scripts and gone to Tom Ferry and all the different things. I've never done any of that. I've just like tried to be the best I can be and just help people. And so it's just talking to people, and it's uncomfortable when they don't want to hear about eXp. So, and I've still struggled with that today. So, and I don't have systems, which if I could go back 10 or 15 years, I would do things so much differently. But I'm here today, and I realize, so I'm working on systems like John's talking about that he's doing with his CRM Grow. I'm very excited about what Lars has coming and ready to, I want to see that launched. And I told him I'm the first person that's going to sign up for that, because I'm ready to put those things in place, because I think, you have good conversations with people, and then it's just that follow-up that you have to be reminded to follow up, especially if you're still doing real estate, which I'm trying to do a little bit. So having those things in place. The thing that I have found lately, and I know, AJ, we had talked about in the past, and we were doing lunch and learns consistently. Remember, we were doing those consistently, but we got to a point where the people that were showing up were the same people every week, and that were our people. But then, when we would get somebody, a guest, very infrequently did people bring, because I just don't think they were comfortable with it. But the people that came, our conversion rate was amazing. So we were just doing strictly model explained. And then I've been watching everything that's going on, and I encourage everybody to find some people that you kind of can connect with. Like Kristen Cantrell has built a great organization by creating events and just creating a culture, and she brings people together. And so and also find some leaders, because like I said, I haven't been a coach. I haven't been a teacher, trainer, instructor. Well, now that I'm finding, I've got a person I'm really excited about that hopefully is going to be coming within the next couple of months, who will hopefully bring a lot of value to this group as a whole. But we've partnered together and are doing events where we're training. So we did a YouTube class the other day on Saturday, and we're getting other agents, and there's no eXp anything. It's just, and we're just masterminding and getting like-minded professionals together. And then last night at one of the places, we have a co-working space, and we did an event for social media. We called it Real Wednesday, and we had a lot of fun with that. And there's no pressure, but the people are starting, other agents are coming and having fun and getting comfortable being around. And then it's going to be easier to invite them to come to that lunch and learn. Hey, we're going to just, come learn about it. You got nothing to lose, and just come have a free lunch or whatever. So trying to create things that our agents can invite people to, that they feel good about. And then we just continue to get in relation. And I'm finding that's more natural for me. And that's where, and then finding those people. So I've been doing all the heavy lifting, but it's not all me. So it's like, hey, this person's great at YouTube. Would you come teach about it? And this person's great with social media. And then I have another person that we have, two agents that have been with me for a year that are awesome. They're young, and one's amazing on social media, Barb, and she came over to shareholders, didn't get to come to the event, but came to Universal. And then Brent, actually, Terry Kelly had Brent up in Jacksonville, and we had a really small group up there. I took 12 people up there, which was awesome, because I couldn't get them to come to other things, but we toted them all up there. And two of them came away charged up about rev share, and they are really excited about agent attraction, and they're jumping in the calls, and they're following. So I'm really excited. So I think finally I've got some fires lit. I've got some people that are getting excited, and now we're all kind of coming together, and the momentum is coming. So I'm going for 200 in my organization, so I can get out of the leader influencer group and get into beta.
Nice.
But I think but we can't, I've really found that it just can't do it. We can't do this on our own. And plugging in to these calls, the Tuesday calls that Lars is doing is gold. You guys, I mean, that stuff, I love it. And then getting people in there, inviting people that aren't even with eXp, and showing them the talent and what you can get, the value you can get out of this group. And I was, so
I think when I look in on what you've been doing over the last few years, Debbie. What I think you've done a good job is creating community and doing events. And it sounds like you've kind of evolved with how you're doing them, which is great. We should always be looking at how we can improve. You run Game Changers Daytona, which is a linked group inside of Game Changers Nation, if you guys want to check it out. And if you have a group that's growing locally and you want a Game Changers Austin, Game Changers, I don't know, Orlando, then we can set that up for you inside of the Game Changers group too. We call it Game Changers Local. And I'm part of Game Changers Daytona. So occasionally I'll see the posts that are happening in that group when you maybe recognize somebody for their achievements, or you are doing a local event. I'll see it comes sometimes on my feed, and that's really cool. I think the average agent, average meaning, like you said, you're not a coach, you're not a trainer, you're not a professional speaker that travels. Like you're a producing agent in a local market. So that's 99.9% of the company, and that's what I was when I joined eXp. Now I have a YouTube channel that's still super small, so I'm still just really the average agent. But I've built a little bit of a, I guess, brand that gets some leads going. But we started in Charlotte, just like you started in Daytona, being the average local producing agent, building local. And by building local, it starts to expand internationally. So I think you've done good with that Facebook group. And to give you guys an idea, because like one of the things that we really were talking about a lot last year was not starting your own Facebook groups, but just promoting Game Changers Nation. But if you have a local group growing, it's good to have a local group that's not agent attraction training, it's not production training, it's hey, here's the local event that we're doing. Hey, who wants to hold my open house? Like that kind of stuff. Hey, here's the Christmas party, here's the 4th of July party, like just local stuff. So key distinction there if you're looking at doing something like that. And then the other thing, Debbie, is your lunch and learns that you started doing. One thing that I saw working pretty well if you are doing a value add type event is to also mix in the eXp Explained. I went to an event for one of the top influencers in the company a couple of years ago, and what they did is they did like 2 hours just straight content, great content, had probably 50 people in the room. And then, because it was still lunch and learn, but it was to learn about taking listings or whatever. And during the lunch portion, he was just like, hey guys, the event that you came for is officially over. You can go ahead and grab your box lunch and take off, or you can just grab it and come back in the room. And we're going to talk a little bit about why we decided to partner with eXp and why it might be a good bet, a good thing for you. Like that was basically it. Everybody went and grabbed their box lunch and came back in. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like nobody left. And then they had a little eXp Explained, which could be just play the video. It could be you explaining it. I think for most people, if they're new to this, just hit play on the modelexplain.com. Edify Brent, hit play on the modelexplain.com. And that's a great way to do it too. So maybe think about mixing that in, maybe every other event you do something like that.
I like that idea a lot, because then you're giving them the option. You're not kind of, a lot of times it was like the bait and switch. I've heard people were doing that, and you just don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to do bait and switch. And two, the reason why I still like the lunch and learn concept where you're just doing straight eXp, I feel like every event should have a this is what eXp is component. That's my personal belief, because we have 42 people on this call and some people on the live stream in Game Changers Nation. Like that's not a lot. You guys are the best, the most engaged in Game Changers Nation. So like your talent, your work ethic to follow up with, both stay in touch with them to actually get the people that came to the event that you invited in front of eXp at some point in the future is probably a good probability. But to grow a big organization, all the people that are local to you who are also inviting the agents to come see the social media class, you got to remember they're busy with their lives, their families, selling real estate. They're probably not even that great at lead follow-up in their real estate businesses. Like real estate agents are notorious for being bad at lead follow-up for even their real estate businesses. So to expect that they're going to do a good job with lead follow-up from the people coming to the events is pretty slim. So if they don't see eXp at that event where it was free value, there's a good chance that agent who invited that person is not going to do a good job staying in touch, and that agent's going to be lost and never see eXp the right way. So I'm a firm believer in always sharing eXp at the events. Good stuff. And I was going to ask you, Debbie, because you are building locally, do you have any idea of how many states your organization of 74 agents is in at this point? It's got to be a few.
I am in a few. I'm in Virginia and Wisconsin, soon to be Utah. And I think that's it, other than Florida. But we've spread out around Florida too. So we're up in the Panhandle. We're in the west side of Florida, over I think near Jeff over there somewhere. Some of our people are there, and Orlando. So, but I have been focused on Daytona, and I've been figuring out, because I can't just stay local, and I've been trying to figure out like how do I take it from here? And I think that it's just finding those people that come into your group, or those leaders that you can take and do something together with. And again, I've got this person coming that we've got some big aspirations, and we want to take this on the road. So, and the
Road
thing,
show.
yeah. And the thing is also that, this has forced me to grow, coming to eXp, because I was thinking about that this morning. Had I not found eXp, I would be on that damn hamster wheel still. Like I would be churning along, and that's the thing. And I look at these other agents now, and people that are doing exactly what I was doing, people that I was working alongside with, top producers in this market, and I feel bad for them. And so this is, like Michael Valdez has said, this is a gift that we have. And it's just, getting out there and showing them and helping find them ways, because I want them to enjoy their lives and their families. And if they don't make a change, they're going to be doing the same thing. They're going to wake up 5 years from now, 3 years from now, and doing the same thing. And even though everybody's making a lot of money in real estate, like you said, AJ, I mean, who's putting that $1.5 million in the bank? Like who's saving that money for their retirement? Not many people are, because they're making more and they're spending more. And this is a wake up call to sort of a lot of that stuff. And then to, and just do more things you enjoy. Because I come now. So I've been on this journey of, no, I haven't been a trainer or coach. You know what? I'm inspired now, and I want to be a coach. I love sitting down, talking to people and asking them, what their passion is, what are their goals, what are their dreams, and then what's their challenges, and then how can we help them? Because we can help them in one way, shape, or form. So
you nailed it. Like I love hearing your heart and your passion around this, because it is all about what is this gift we've been giving revenue share able to do for other agents. And that's why like you feel it in your heart and your bones, I can tell. And I want you to bottle that up and use that when you're talking to agents, because I know it's still hard for you to reach out to agents because of rejection, but like
I cry in front of our people a lot, because I'm so passionate about it, So.
You gotta write like a paragraph. Do this. Write a paragraph of like what revenue share, like what you just said. Like just write that out, and before you like have to invite agents to your events or whatever, like just read that. Get yourself pumped up. The article I posted in the chat, the guy poses the question, why is it important to learn how to live a rich life? It's kind of like what you're talking about. Being on the hamster wheel of selling houses forever is not living a rich life. The sacrifices that they need to make to be a top agent, it's just, for me, the cost was too high. I was 4 years into real estate, selling close to 100 homes a year with a small team, and I was like, man, like the cost of this success is too high. It's mind blowing me to think that 4 years ago is when I was in Daytona with you. Like that was like my one life tour, like my motorhome trip, and that was 4 years ago. I'm every single day I'm thinking like, how can I be living a better rich life? Because when you think about how fast that 4 years flew by, like I still remember I had this cheesy blue like pinstripe sport coat on that I got on sale at Marshall's or something, and because the picture pops up in my news feed still every year. Like time just goes so fast, and I think I'm just hyper aware to it, even more so than then. Now that I have kids that are growing, it's like, geez, like 2 years. My son's 2; he turned 2 last week. It's like, man, living a rich life is not staying on the hamster wheel of selling houses. There's just so much more, and I think a lot of agents need to discover how to live a rich life for them. Like, because if you don't even know what that looks like or even what that means, a lot of agents are just ignorant to the fact that can even exist for them. So we're literally, we're saving people, like, not saving their souls, but we're saving them.
Well,
We're
and
saving them
you
from the
you
rat
get
race.
you get in that mindset, like, not only that, but just yourself personally. Like, we lose ourselves, and
Yeah.
that's like taking that time, that quiet time, and just stopping for a minute, and not being working. People were always working in the business and not on the business. But even, I mean, I would wake up and you think about deals in the middle of the night. You wake up in the morning and you're jumping on your phone and your computer, and the next thing you know, you had all these plans to do your miracle mornings and all of that, and we
Yeah.
sacrifice ourselves. And then what happens to our health and our everything.
Yeah.
So that's just so much more important. And I think everybody gets caught up in, when you're producing and these opportunities are there, we drop our families for a customer who sometimes aren't loyal to us. The deal never even comes together, but we're jumping. And so I don't know, but this is a better way. This is a better way for sure.